Speaking of flour, good grief, I couldn't have rehearsed that better. With a 5-pound bag of flour, the cooking class can make 120 date nut muffins. Not sure I know what dates taste like. How many muffins can they make with a 2-pound bag of flour? So assuming they had that 5 pounds and knowing that they can make 120 muffins, what if they only had 2 pounds? How many muffins could they make then? Now, there's actually 2 different ways to set this up, but the way I always set it up is the ratio that you have and the ratio you're changing it to. Okay, technically it would work if you did 5 over 2 and 120 over x as well, as long as you kept the same thing together. If you keep the 5 with the amount of muffins it makes versus the 2 with the amount of muffins it makes, same. Or if you keep flour, flour, muffin, muffin, that's fine. You just can't do 5 pounds is to x as 2 is to 120. Then you've got a mistake there, okay? So this is the preferred method for me anyway. In any case, you end up with 5x equaling 240. Strangely enough, if you set it up this way, you end up with something quite similar. Isn't that something? How convenient. So as long as you make a decision how you want to create it, good morning, you will be fine. Just don't put the wrong thing. Don't put 120 muffins with 2 pounds. If I divide, I end up with, is it 48? Obviously it would be the same over here because the division would be the same. Now, does that make sense to you, that answer? Well, knowing that 2 is less than 5, I would expect the muffin count to be less than 120, right? If you came up with 137, you might say, well, that can't be wrong because how do I make more muffins with less flour? Okay, so that kind of thinking will help you as you're doing these to recognize if you have a at least sensible answer. 48 muffins. Example 4. Okay, exact same thing. And your parents do this all the time, whether you realize it or not. We're always trying to figure out how to get the best gas mileage. We buy the car that is the most efficient with our fuel. So here we go. About 8 gallons of gas filled the tank. About 8 gallons of gas filled the tank after Greg drove 224 miles. So don't get bound up in the verbiage there. What they're saying is he used 8 gallons to drive 224. Okay, so whatever he had, he used up 8, and they figured that out, that he drove 224. How many miles can he expect to drive on a full tank of 13? And there's your setup. Notice they have 224 over 8 and m over 13. Does that make a lick of difference? Not a drop. So by multiplying, you're going to find out that 8x, 8m, and to be clear, that's 364 miles, right? Just like this was 48 muffins. How you guys feeling about this? Not too hard, right? A lot of times in life we're comparing things like that. It takes me 30 minutes to do a math assignment that has 15 problems in it. Tonight I got 30 problems to do. How long should I expect to spend? Any ideas? How much? An hour. So normally it takes me 30 minutes to do 15 problems. Tonight the teacher gave me 30 problems. How much time should I budget? Lauren says 1 hour. And she's right, because you doubled what you were given, so one can estimate that you would double what you need. Now again, I know it's different depending upon what type of problems you're doing, but that is a good way for you to budget your time, too. Holy cow, here we go. Let's do some of these. Starting with number 1. So this is page 296, number 1. Here we go. Holy cow. 6 oranges cost 99 cents. How much do 10 oranges cost? Notice I did not include my decimal. I did that on purpose. If you wish to include your decimal, that's fine. But I am going to recognize that whatever I get is going to be in cents. Okay, if you do it with the decimal, you will come up with the actual cents with the decimal. But like this, I'm going to end up with that. And if I divide by 6, I'm going to get 165. 165 cents. Are we smart enough to tell what that is? Of course we are. Now, if you had done this, you would have had 990 times 10, that, and you would have ended up with that. Okay? I don't care how you do it. I just think it's easier to work without the decimal and then put it back in. Obviously, you know it wouldn't be $16.50, so sometimes just a little bit of easy knowledge works there. Any questions on this? Oh boy. Work this one with me. Maria drove 111 miles in 3 hours. How far could she expect to drive in 5 hours? Notice I oftentimes use a variable that reminds me of what I'm looking for. If you don't like doing that, that's fine. If you're an X and an N person, do it. I don't care. Cross multiplying gives us 555 equals 3m. And dividing by 3, did you all come up with 185 when you divided? Any questions on those? Try number 5 on your own. Try number 5 on your own real quick. A car that sold for $11,800, try it on your own, has a sales tax of $767. How much does a car cost if its sales tax is $637? Try that one on your own for just a moment. Y'all have calculators. Remember, cross products of equivalent ratios must equal one another, which is why I've been cross multiplying. Bless you. All right, my friends. Based on the fact that the tax is lower, would you all believe that the cost is higher or lower than 11.8? Lower, of course. So right off the bat, if you came up with 13,000, you know you're wrong. All right? Did you all come up with something that looks like that? Sometimes these big wacko numbers, don't let them scare you. It's just because we cross multiplied here. And you knew that that would mean we're cross multiplying here. After dividing by 767, I determined the value of $9,800 would be that car. 2 more? Try this one on your own. Try this one on your own. At a fixed interest rate, an investment of $4,000 earns $210. How much do you need to invest? I'm going to write D for dollars as I do it. To earn $336 at the same rate. This is exactly like the car situation. Exactly like the car and the tax situation. I'll give you guys a minute to calculate that. So, would you expect that you need to invest more or less to get a higher return? Right. So if you came up with $2,000, you're wrong. You already know that. Good job. Something like that look like what you got? Last one. Okay, this one is a little tricky, so be with me, okay? Bear with me. A consumer survey was taken in a town with a total of 180,000 homes. $18,000? Let's try that, Mrs. Myers. Okay, so the town actually had 18,000 houses. Okay, that's the actual amount. But in the town, they didn't knock on 18,000 doors. They actually only knocked on 360 doors. Of the 360 doors they knocked on, 48 had computers. Given this survey, and assuming the numbers stay the same, I'm kind of adding here, how many houses would you say out of the 18,000 would have computers? Let's try it. Did y'all come up with that? All right. Very good.